Hey everyone, it's Lisa Rao with Custer County OSU Extension and Western Plains Library. We want to share with you the second session of Preventing Problems with Active Parenting First 5 Years. Let's get started. This is a review of the first session. We talked about the purpose of parenting, different styles of parenting, self-care, and playing a little bit every day and following our child's lead in play, and learning with them how they use their imagination and creativity and helping them along the way. We also talked about mindfulness and how it can calm and reduce stress in not only us, but our children as well. We learned about the different ages and stages and what to expect along the way and how to love, nurture, and connect our children. So let's learn something new. Today, we're going to begin learning about our child's brain and how beautiful it is and how amazingly creative they can be. So let's watch this first video.
A baby may look like an adorable little being who doesn't really do much, but inside that sweet little head is the most complex learning organ on the planet, the human brain. With billions of neurons already programmed to make trillions of connections, your baby's brain is truly a beautiful thing. Hello, I'm Tinashe Kajese, and welcome to Session 2 of Active Parenting First 5 Years. As amazing as a baby's brain already is, this is just the beginning. A young child's brain is constantly developing. By age 3, it will develop billions more of these connections than it will even have as an adult. You may ask, then why isn't a 3-year-old as smart as an adult? Good question. Nature gives human babies a brain more complex and more capable of learning than that of any other animal on Earth. But nature can't know exactly what each individual child will need to learn in order to survive and thrive in the world she lives in. Each child has unique needs. So nature prepares the child's brain for learning by giving it far more connections than it will ever use. Then it leaves the rest to the environment to see which connections get used and strengthened in the process, and which ones are left unused and fall away. Early childhood is the most critical period for this building and trimming down process in the brain. It's when a child is most capable of learning and most impressionable. So to help your child build a good, strong brain, it's important that you provide learning opportunities and positive emotional experiences, preferably together, so that the brain connects learning with pleasure. These positive experiences with caregivers actually help to build babies' brains. A child's brain develops from the bottom up. It may help to think of it as having 3 parts. When a baby is born, the most developed part of its brain is the brainstem and the cerebellum, or what we call the old brain. These control some basic instincts. You know, feed me, hug me, change my diaper, let me sleep, as well as key functions like heartbeat, breathing, and swallowing. Around a child's first birthday, another part of the brain becomes more active. Some people call this the emotional brain because it triggers feelings like fear, anger, caring, separation distress.
Joy! The earth to explore! Love!
Right, we wouldn't want to forget those. But these emotions are strong and need to be managed if we're going to do anything useful with them. So it's a good thing we have a third part of the brain, the rational brain. It's in charge of more complex functions like good decision-making, self-awareness, and morality. Development of that part of the brain begins in early childhood, but it isn't complete until around age 25. Brain development goes along with muscle development and physical growth, so don't expect a 2-year-old to be able to do what a 4-year-old can do, or a 4-year-old to be able to do what a 10-year-old can do. That will just make them stressed and angry. And when a human brain gets stressed out, it releases chemicals to help the body deal with it. For kids who experience the toxic stress of abuse, neglect, or violence, the constant presence of these chemicals can actually slow down brain development. On the other hand, when parents hug and play with a young child, the brain releases other chemicals that help the child bond with you and makes them feel safe and secure.
We can't get too much of that.
This doesn't mean that all stress is bad and that you shouldn't discipline your children in order to help them learn to control their emotions and behavior. In fact, without the nurturing and guidance of loving parents and others, human children would be lucky to survive, and they certainly wouldn't thrive.
We need love and hugs and safe places to learn.
So our brain connect love and hugs.
With learning and reading.
So what can we do to help develop that beautiful brain? Well, we can help with problem-solving skills, discipline, nurturing, and support skills. And we can do that by having fun brain-building activities, such as freeze dance. So maybe you played musical chairs. Well, this is very simple. Pick up your MP3 player or turn on the radio or something that you can have in your hand, or have someone take turns being the music monitor. And just everybody in the family dance along and just have fun. And then all of a sudden stop the music. And when the music stops, everybody freezes. Wherever we're at, we freeze until the music starts again. This helps with fine and gross motor skills. It helps our brains to listen, to respond quickly to a command. And so it's a great activity. Plus, we're getting a lot of great physical exercise. So put on your favorite jams and freeze dance with your fam. And now we're going to talk about some relaxation and breathing techniques. Last session, we talked about mindfulness and practicing those self-calming techniques. And these are 3 different types of breathing that we can use to do that. And so I'm going to turn to full screen for just a minute. And we are going to practice the butterfly breath. To do that, we know that butterflies open and close their wings. They open and close. So we're going to do this with our breath. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit so you can see. So as we do, we're going to put our arms up as our wings. We're going to breathe in. As we take our wings out and then hold, and then close. Inhale and exhale. And that's how simple butterfly breathing is. You can teach it to your kids and use it as a great calming technique. Say, okay, everybody, we're kind of getting a little crazy here. Let's just take a moment and do some butterfly breaths. Or if you're from Western Oklahoma, like I am, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain almost every day, try the windy woods. So what does windy woods look like? It looks like the trees outside. We're going to breathe in and bring our branches up in the air, and then hold, and then bring them down. That wind sweeping down the plain once again. The third one is the funnest one of all, I think, and that's called balloon breath. So we're going to use our hands. We're going to put them on our shoulders and we're going to make our balloon inflate by breathing in. Okay, now we hold it, and then when it's time to let the air out and we deflate the balloon, we're going to make the balloon noise. Just like the balloon claps when we let the air out. Let's try that one more time. Ready? Balloon breath. And then let it go. I guarantee that you will be laughing, your family will be laughing, and your kids will be laughing. And it's something that you guys will do all through your life. I know that a simple routine and de-stressing situation that has occurred in my family for years has to do with butterflies. And my mom, one day, the dinner table topic had turned to kind of an inappropriate or, I don't know, confrontive situation. And all of a sudden in the middle of dinner, she stops and goes, "Did you know that the monarch butterflies fly south for the winter?" And everybody just went, "Yeah, well, they do." Yes. And then she starts talking about monarch butterflies. And so for decades, even in my extended family, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins know that if somebody says in the middle of a conversation, "Did you know that monarch butterflies fly south for the winter?" that it's time to change the conversation and go to a new topic. So just like the butterfly breath, opening and breathing, or the balloon breath. Something like that can be fun and a way to divert us from something that may be frustrating, upsetting, or angry, and help practice that self-calming and have a mindful moment to get us refocused and redirected in a new way. So let's keep going and learn some more amazing things that we can make a part of our family life. So what does it mean when a baby goes, "Wah?" It may be that they're saying, I'm hungry, I'm hot or cold, I'm wet, put some new, clean, dry diapers on me. I'm tired and I just want to go to bed. Or it could be, I'm feeling irritable and I just need you to hold me and calm me down, and you calm down too. Let me feel your heartbeat, because children pick up on those biorhythms in our body and the tension. So if we pick them up and we're angry or upset or frustrated, they feed off of that tension. So we need to calm down before we handle our children, and never, ever shake or hit them, because it can lead to brain damage or death. And it can break the trust and the bonds that we have with our children, because our actions are as important as our word. So when our babies cry, and I need to start resharing my screen. There you go. So when your baby cries, don't ignore it. Find out what he or she needs and meet that need for them. So children have lousy brakes. Just like a kid that hasn't learned how to brake their bicycle, they can go careening out of control sometimes. And so when we need them to change a behavior or an activity, we need to give them a little advance warning, because just like the freeze dance teaches them to stop movements, we need to give them time to stop a movement and change to a new activity, because they get very engrossed in what they're doing and focus on it. So especially like when we're getting ready for meal times, bath times, leaving to go someplace new, we need to give them some advance warning so they can start putting on those brakes and redirecting their mind to the next activity. So give them that time to stop and do it slowly. So we need to also look at how we discipline, that make sure that we're disciplining and not hurting. So too hard parents sometimes yell, curse, threaten, shake, hit, or spank. And we don't want to do those things, because those are not sharing loving, kinding bonds, and they're not accomplishing what we want to do. So what is the difference between that and discipline? Those hurt, whether it hurts physically, emotionally, socially, they all hurt and leave hard wounds in our hearts and minds and bodies. But discipline directs us and teaches us. Just like I shared earlier, that I have cattle at my house, and so we build fences to keep them corralled in within limits and let them do what they naturally do within those limits. And we create bonds by treating them kind and lovingly. And the stronger the bond we create, the easier it is to discipline, because they know that they can trust us. And so the same thing with our children. We build those kind bonds with loving words, kind touches, words of encouragement and affirmation, and gentle guiding into things that are appropriate. So rules. We all have rules wherever we go, whatever we do, and they set limits, just like the fence around my pasture. And so as we look at this picture, we see that corral that sets the limits, the places, the boundaries that we can go. And within that, you can move and be active as you need to be. And so why do we set rules? Well, we want to protect our children and keep them from harm. We want to keep them from having to make choices that they're not ready for, but give them choices within what they are ready for. So such as, we don't drink sodas at dinner. Would you like milk or water? Simple choice that your kids can make, a choice that they're ready for. To get them ready for a life of rules. We have rules wherever we go. If we're driving on the highway, if we're at work, if we're working out in the gym, all of those places have rules that we're expected to adhere to and obey. And just like that, our child is going to have to get ready for rules in life wherever they go as well. So as we set simple rules in our home that are positive and help them and reinforce those rules consistently, they're going to know how to handle rules. And it's going to not only help outside the home, but it's going to make parenting easier and more effective. Does that mean that we need to have a long list of rules that thou shalt do this, thou shalt not do that? No, we only need the rules that we really need. They don't have to be overwhelming. We need to give only one rule at a time and keep it short and simple. Remember, KISS, keep it short and simple. Okay? And then try to leave the child out of the rule, such as, we don't jump on furniture in our house because we want to take care of it nice, and keep it nice. I didn't say you can't jump on the furniture. We say we don't stand on and jump on our furniture because we want it to be nice, and give an explanation on why we don't do that. And then say the rule positively instead of negatively. And last, say it like you mean it. And then reinforce it. Be consistent. We always say count to 3, but start with 2. And if your child starts jumping on the furniture, remind them of the rule. We don't jump on our furniture because we want to keep it nice. And so, can you sit down, please? And then if they don't, it's time to redirect. So and when your child does remember the rule, encourage her. If you're driving down the road and your child's sitting good in their car seat, and that's something you've been working on without them fussing or pulling or trying to undo it, you come up to an intersection, roll down your window, wave at the person in the next lane and say, hey, look, my daughter is sitting in her car seat. She's doing it so awesome, and I am so proud of her. And I just wanted everybody to know how great my child is. And your kid's gonna be like, whoa, my mom just told a total stranger that I'm sitting in my car seat good. I must be awesome. And so by encouraging and reinforcing that positive behavior, we're training them in the way that we want them to go and building up their self-esteem. Let's watch the next video about the when and then rule.
Isabel, time to put away your toys and get ready for your bath.
No, I don't want to take a bath. Will you read to me?
I never cared much for taking baths myself. It seems that there were always more fun things to do. But this is a great opportunity for mom to use a special parenting technique to get a better result. Some people call this technique the when-then rule. Let's see how it works.
No, I don't want to take a bath. Will you read to me?
Sure, honey, but you know the rule. When you take your bath, then I'll read to you.
But why I have to take a bath?
Because staying clean helps you stay healthy, and I want my precious girl to be healthy. So let's get going, so we can have plenty of time for story tonight.
As you've probably noticed, the when-then rule is nothing more than making sure the child does what we want her to do before she's allowed to do what she wants to do. It's a work before play approach that you can give as a when-then choice. And as we saw in session 1, choices are very powerful for motivating children.
When you take your bath, then I'll read to you.
Of course, the when-then rule won't work very long unless mom keeps her promise and reads the story, but only when Isabel has taken her bath. By the way, this is not the same as bribing or rewarding the child, which can backfire later. The key is to take something the child usually gets to do anyway, which in this example is reading a story, and making sure the work gets done before the play begins. The when-then rule makes less pleasant activities not so bad when they're followed by something the child likes. Look for opportunities to try using this powerful method yourself this week. You'll be surprised how well it works.
Well, we just learned about when and then. When this happens, then we do this. So now we're going to learn about one called the act of parenting. I think you'll enjoy this.
Gabriel?
Gabriel, look what you've done! Now I got a big mess to clean up!
I've seen that scene before. What is it about refrigerators that makes young children want to go exploring? Gabriel isn't really being bad. He is just being curious and doing what explorers do. However, he does need to be taught that the refrigerator is off limits, and he will need to do his exploring someplace else. The ACT method, or ACT, is a good way for his mother to teach him that. Instead of getting angry or yelling at him, which is likely to just upset both of them, she can take 3 simple steps and act. The first step, the A in ACT, is to accept her son's wishes or feelings, though not his behavior.
Gabe, I know you like to explore.
With one simple sentence, Mother has let her son know that she understands his needs and feelings and that she is not the enemy. Her acceptance of him as a person is also great for his self-esteem. Although it's important to accept our children's needs and feelings, we don't always want to accept their behavior. The second step in the ACT model is C, for communicate the rule or limit.
But the refrigerator is not for you to play in.
Again, without a lot of words or lecturing, Mother lets Gabriel know that the refrigerator is off limits. This is what we mean by limiting his behavior. Now, many parents make the mistake of leaving it at that, but it is not enough to just set reasonable limits. We want to go one step further and help our children learn how to meet their needs with behavior that is okay for the situation. This is the T in ACT, target a positive choice.
Why don't we make your own special drawer, Gabe's drawer, with some egg cartons and some plastic jars and some stuff for you to play with? It will be your own special drawer, Gabe's drawer.
Since young children are easily distracted, it usually isn't hard to move them to an acceptable alternative, like Gabe's drawer. As they get older, you can build on this lesson by helping them think of acceptable choices themselves. This is a cornerstone of effective problem solving, a skill that will serve them well in school and throughout life.
So ACT, accept the child's feelings. I know you like to explore things, but you need to communicate the rule limit. But the refrigerator is not for you to play in. So we're communicating that. And then target a positive choice. Why don't we set up a special drawer of spoons and plastic kitchen utensils that you can play with that are safe? And, you know, this reminds me of my little cousin. He's all grown up now and is a famous writer. And anyway, he was a little kid, and on Christmas morning, his mom had built this elaborate Santa's Christmas tree adventure under the tree with all the presents and fancy new toys and everything. But not Chance. Chance walks right through into the kitchen, opens the cupboard where he had his special toys, just like in this. And he got out his spoon and his Tupperware and bowls and started playing in the kitchen floor because he liked that. And it was something that he knew was acceptable to do, where before he had been told he couldn't touch the presents under the tree. So he just avoided them altogether and went to do what he knew was a positive choice. And so finally, with a little encouragement, he finally went and opened his Christmas presents. But until then, he was making the safe choice. Okay, so actions, not words. When we do act, we need to get down eye to eye with our children and not stand over them and look down and be like the big scary person. But we need to bend eye to eye so that we're creating that bond and that connectedness. And then move or point to the positive choice and kind of direct them where they need to go. And if we need to, we just guide them firm and friendly into the place that we need them to be without anger or frustration, and get them started and help them with the new positive activity that's acceptable. So what are the 3 most important words children want to hear from their parents? Need some money? Nope, that's not it. You'd think as a teenager, that's probably what you want to hear most. But as a small child and out throughout our life, we want to hear, I love you. My family never ends a phone call without saying, I love you to each other. And that just builds that bond. In fact, earlier today, I had a call with my 83-year-old mother, and we ended it with, I love you. And I could hear the smile in her voice when she said it back to me. So building the bond, those routines that get us through the day, setting an order that we can go from one event to the next and know that what's expected of us, what's going to happen, and where we're going to go next. How we wake our children up, starting with a positive thing. Whether we sing a good morning song, we wake them up with kisses and hugs and tickles, or we then getting up, how we wash up, brush our teeth, get dressed, eat breakfast, and then where we go on the rest of our day. And then how we do our mealtime routines, how everyone helps set the table. If we say grace at our meal or share what we're thankful for and visit and share about our days, and then clean up together. And then our bedtime routines, getting to each of those points, even when it's a frustrating day. And we've had upset and frustrations and even a disruption to our routines. Once we can get back up into that routine, we develop habits. And so next, we're going to learn about how to develop some great bedtime routines that are going to help calm things down, create that consistency, and help each of us to calm and be mindful of our day. So let's watch this one.
Hey, 2-minute warning. Start getting ready for bath. Start getting ready for baths. Let's get our music. It's bath time. Caleb, you're first.
Bath time!
Now you start getting undressed and I'll go run the water.
Young children like to know that certain things happen at certain times. It gives them a sense of security and order to their worlds. These routines of daily living can also make our jobs as parents easier. It's never too early to start a routine with your child or even your baby. You'll find that this creates less frustration and conflict and more joy and cooperation, even at bedtime. One of the keys to establishing a good routine with your child is to make sure there's plenty of fun built in. A good bedtime routine might begin with bath time. A little music, a couple of bathtub toys, and some imagination can turn bath time into fun time for both of you.
Motorboat, motorboat, go so slow. Motorboat, motorboat, go so fast. Motorboat, motorboat, hit the gas.
After baths, the routine might continue with teeth brushing time. Again, some encouragement and imagination can go a long way.
You're doing a great job of opening your mouth wide. Let's see if you can open it big as a hippo.
And of course, a favorite part of bedtime routine is story time. Whether you make one up or read to your children, this is a great way to build their minds while winding them down from active play to quiet sleep. Plus, what child doesn't love a good story?
Good night, Moo. Good night, Spoon. Good night, Cow, jumping over the moon.
Then it's time for lights out and your own special rituals. This might include a prayer, a back massage, a special poem, or something you make up. The idea is to make it meaningful by doing it every night.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
And be sure to add a lot of loving touches. Hugs, kisses, cuddles. Parents have always known that this was important to their child's development, but now we know why. Gentle touches from a loved one actually release a hormone in both the parent and child that helps the bond between them grow stronger and even builds trust between them. And when you add the words that every child needs to hear often from his or her parents,
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
well, let's just say it's a sweet way to go off to dreamland.
Sleep. Sometimes it feels like we never get enough. So what can help with sleep? It helps first our bodies to physical and mental health. It repairs our cells and allows us to regenerate. It helps our children's brains to develop as they rest and those neurons to refire and recharge for the day. It helps increase our attention span. We have better behavior. We learn better when we sleep. It improves our memory and our emotional regulation. We can self-control and our overall quality of life. So how much sleep should a young child get? Well, you can see here that infants need about 12 to 16 hours a day, including their naps. And that's progressive from the time they're born. Those times reduce. And then as we get to 1 to 2 year olds, those toddlers, they need about 11 to 14 hours, including naps. And finally, as they age into those adventurers, 3 to 5 years of age, we're going to see about 10 to 13 hours a day. And so that concludes our second session. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you for session 3. Thanks for tuning in.